record button. Alrighty, everybody. Welcome back to Austin's Academy of Sports, where today I have a special guest, Andrew Sahori. Used to go to high school with me, grade below me. So Andrew, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hey, I'm a huge Lions fan, obviously, and I'm going to Michigan State in the fall, and I look forward to the upcoming season a lot.
That's great to hear. I know a lot of Lions fans, especially you, Andrew, are looking forward to the season. A lot of good expectations, high expectations for the season. With all the new acquisitions they acquired in free agency and the draft. We'll talk about that a little later in the show. But that's good to hear that you're going to Michigan State. Do you have any like what kind of major are you going into, or
I'm thinking about majoring in chemistry on a pre-med
chemistry?
track. Yeah.
That's great. That's great. So I'm obviously majoring in broadcast cinematic arts. I've been doing these podcasts for a while now, so a lot of my viewers have listened to them for a very long time, and I'm very excited for the future that holds me. So for the Lions' sake, that's what we want to hear to talk about. I reached out to Andrew, or Andrew reached out to me, and he said he wanted to talk about the Lions and their upcoming season. So without further ado, let's talk about, I guess we can start with, like the draft that they had this year. Each team had a lot of draft picks, some more than others. Lions had, I don't know, do you know how many picks they had? Or
I believe they had 8 picks.
8 picks, yeah, throughout the whole draft, 7 rounds. They had some great talent, who was your favorite pick? Let's start with that. Who was your favorite pick for the Lions?
Probably Jahmyr Gibbs. I'm
Yeah.
really excited about it.
Yeah, he's an all-around great back from Alabama. I'm pretty sure Dan Campbell and Ben Johnson will be using him a lot. Could be a running back too with David Montgomery, another new guy that they acquired. But we'll see what happens. He could flex out to receiver. He's a special guy, and I'm sure they have a lot planned for him. But on the defensive side, they got Jack Campbell in one of the earlier rounds as well. What do you think about him?
Yeah, he's a stud. He was ranked the best linebacker in that whole draft. Coming out of Iowa too. Iowa linebackers are insane.
Yeah.
I'm really excited to see him, and I've been seeing the videos the Lions have been posting on Twitter. He's been putting in that work, and he looks like an absolute stud.
Yeah, him and Malcolm Rodriguez, who they got, I believe, last year. They're gonna be a great pair with maybe Alex Anzalone, or I think that's how you say his name. But they could run a 4-3 defense, with all their secondary acquisitions as well, which we'll talk about a little later. Actually, we could talk about that now. Before we get to that those were the 2 highlight picks of the draft. There's a few others that I can think of. You got the offensive lineman that can pair with the already great offensive line of the Lions. They got a few. Oh, Hendon Hooker. Yeah, what are your thoughts about Hendon Hooker too?
Yeah, I'm hyped about Hendon Hooker. I thought that was a huge steal of draft. I was surprised he actually fell that low because before he tore his ACL, he was a Heisman candidate. He was having a monstrous season, and I feel like behind Jared Goff, he's going to be an awesome quarterback, especially if we don't end up extending Jared Goff's contract. I would be happy to have him at quarterback.
Yeah, I heard that Dan Campbell plans on kind of redshirting him. What they do in college football this year with his ACL, like you mentioned. So I doubt we'll see him getting any playing time this year. But if Jared Goff happens to, God forbid, get injured or anything like that, they could move Hendon Hooker to QB2, I guess, and have him back up Nate Sudfeld, I think his name is, the other backup. But we'll see what happens. But yeah, like I said, I don't think he'll get very much playing time this year with his injury and redshirt, just learning. But for the future, he'll get tons of playing time. But that's all I can think of for the draft. You got any other guys that you can think of that you remember? If not, it's okay.
Sam Laporta, the tight end.
Yep, I remember him. Yep.
a lot of people were saying that was kind of a reach, like he could have fell way lower,
Hmm.
but just seeing all that he's done and looking at his clips from Iowa, he's a monster. That dude is really good. Probably one of the best tight ends in the draft. I was hoping we would get Michael Mayer from Notre Dame,
Yeah. Hmm.
but looking at that, I feel like it doesn't really matter. He's still going to produce either way. And if he doesn't, hopefully not. We still have Brock right there. So I'm pretty confident in our tight end position.
Yeah, to be honest, we didn't really lose. I mean, I'm trying to think of players that I mean, we did lose a few players to different teams and different contracts, but not very like the big thing is probably Jamison Williams with his suspension. We didn't lose him,
Yeah.
but we lost him for technically 6 games. That was a heartbreaker.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I want to give your thoughts on Jamison Williams' suspension.
Yeah, okay, yeah. I could talk about this all day, man. His suspension is it's just ridiculous to me.
Yeah.
Like, I realize what he did was against the rules, but
Hmm.
the NFL even came out and said that they did a poor job of communicating the guidelines for gambling. So
Yeah.
it is his fault, but not really at the same time, just because he was not aware of that rule. And and also he didn't even bet on any NFL games. He bet
No.
on college football. And
Hmm.
it's just the fact that it was at a Lions facility, that's what made it a bad thing. But that's ridiculous. And it shouldn't be 6 games, maybe 3, but 6 is
Yeah.
a little too harsh, I feel like.
Yeah, I know. I agree with you there. The three or the 6 games is a little harsh, but I guess it is less than the some of the other players that got
Yeah.
fined for the whole season, and that pretty much throws their whole season away. And but like a few years ago, I don't know if you probably remember Kelvin Ridley, who got suspended
Mhm.
for
Yep.
for I think it was the full year,
Yeah.
for doing the same thing. It's just different punishments with Deshaun Watson too. I know it wasn't gambling, but his was a little different circumstance.
Hmm.
But it's just, I guess it's in the rules, and as rookies, you got to understand that. But it's just 6 games is a lot, and he's a young guy. He missed the whole last year, pretty much.
Yeah.
It's tough for Lions fans like us, but he'll be back. He should be back after that bye week,
Yep.
I think. So as long as he stays healthy. But I've been seeing videos of him and Amon Ra getting and Jared Goff getting connection
Yeah.
this offseason. So
Yeah.
let's see. Well, we talked about the draft. We talked about JMO. Um, let's talk about the additions with a few guys from the Eagles that I can name. CJ Gardner Johnson.
Hmm.
Let's first talk about him. What are your thoughts on him?
Yeah, when I saw that signing, I jumped up and I was freaking out because I just couldn't believe it. He's by far probably one of the best safeties in the NFL. He led the league. Well, he was tied with like 6 other players for
Yeah.
interceptions. So that proves he's pretty good. And he was on the Eagles defense. They went to the Super Bowl. So I feel like and he's kind of a vet. He's been in the league for a little bit now.
Oh yeah.
So I feel like he's gonna give some good wisdom, especially to Brian Branch, our other pick. I thought that was
Yep.
well, but
Yeah.
I think he's going to be
Um,
good for our defense.
yeah. Well, we pretty much anybody for the defense. Last year, our defense was one of the main reasons we didn't make it to the playoffs.
Yeah.
I've always told my parents when we sit down and watch the games a few times together, it's about how you start, not really how you finish.
Hmm.
They finish great, but like I said, it's how you start. They got up to that 1-6 start last year, and that kind of blew it right there. But that one game in, I think it was week 2, when they got their one win for their first 7 games of the season, that was a pretty good game.
Yeah.
But like I said, it's how you start, not how you finish. And then also the Seahawks last year, we had a chance that last week to
Yeah.
get to the playoffs, and the Seahawks kind of let us down there, and they eventually made it, losing to the 49ers. That was a crucial moment in the Shattuck household there.
Yeah. I still think that Seahawks Rams game, I still think that was really bad on the refs.
Yeah, well, it was. I remember, I don't know, you probably remember where you were. I was at work that day, and I
Mhm.
saw, like, watching Red Zone. It was, I was mad. Like, there was I was checking customers out and stuff like that, but
Yeah, I've
I
been
was,
there.
it was mad because I wanted them to go to the playoffs. I think they had a better chance against the Niners than the Seahawks
Yeah.
did. But
Yeah,
what were your thoughts on
100%.
that?
Yeah. See, I think see, I think teams were actually glad we didn't make the playoffs because they
Yeah.
did not want to go against us. We're by far the hottest team in the league ending the
Mhm.
year last year. And the fact that we even beat uh Aaron Rodgers at Lambeau Field on
Mhm.
prime time is just ridiculous. Everybody had the Packers winning that game. So
Mhm.
when we marched in there, we really showed like who we are and how we can be a good
Yeah.
team.
Yeah, like the brand new Lions philosophy. Instead of the same old Lions, it's the brand new Lions. We got
Hmm.
the posters going up, and a lot of fans are getting on the hype train. And I don't think it will be. I think we'll win the North this year with
Hmm.
the release, or I guess not release, the new team that Aaron Rodgers is going to, new quarterback. We'll see what Jordan Love can do.
Yeah.
I'd like to get your thoughts on that. Like, what do you think about Jordan Love coming the new Packers quarterback? You think he'll?
Yeah. I see. I see because he's been behind Aaron Rodgers. We haven't seen a lot of him,
No.
but I don't know if he's going to be good or not. But to be honest, I think the Packers are definitely going to be worse. He's
Yeah.
not Aaron Rodgers, and plus they lost some receivers when they
Hmm.
went to the Jets with Aaron Rodgers as well. So
Hmm.
I think it's going to be kind of a rebuild time. I feel like this season they're going to be bad, and then next season they're just going to start a rebuild because I can't see them going very far without Aaron Rodgers, to be honest.
Yeah, you got to start somewhere, just like the Lions did
Yeah,
with Matt Patricia, and that's a name
that
for, so I don't even want to
that
mention him.
ruined the franchise. That
Yeah,
was so
yeah,
bad.
yeah.
He ruined our team.
He was. Is he even in the league anymore? Oh,
Yeah. Last time I checked, he was like defensive coordinator or offense for the Patriots, but I'm pretty
yeah.
sure they
So not
fired
even
him.
a head
So
coach anymore.
yeah,
It's like I don't know what was wrong with him.
even the GM at the time, I forgot. What was his name? Something Quinn?
She's
Was it like Bob Quinn or something? I don't know.
yeah, Bob Quinn. Yeah, yeah, that
Yeah.
rings a bell.
So yeah, he just even then, I'm glad we fired him because Brad Holmes, what he's doing now, like Brad Holmes, even with just like a fifth round draft pick, he can be crazy. Like Malcolm Rodriguez, he was from the
Yeah.
sixth round, and look
Hmm.
at him now. He led the
Hmm.
rookies in tackles for loss last season. It
Hmm.
was ridiculous.
Yeah, he's a beast. Like we mentioned earlier, him and Jack Campbell. They'll be two of the premier linebackers in the NFC, not and
That's
maybe
gonna
in
be
the whole
big news.
league. But we got to start somewhere, and we did. We got rid of Matt Patricia,
Yeah,
and we got Dan Campbell. He's the right coach. Like teams need
100%.
a coach that they can lean up against, and I believe Dan Campbell is that one. Is we got to get him under contract, and Ben Johnson. I like how we got Ben Johnson under contract as well for the offensive coordinator.
Yeah, yep,
Um,
that's awesome.
yeah, I like those
Ben.
guys. They especially Hard Knocks last year. A lot of their phrases that they mentioned, we got to see them like go through their daily basis of training camp and all that
Mhm.
stuff. That was great. Did you watch Hard Knocks last year or no?
I didn't. I've seen a couple clips. The really iconic one of Jamal Williams in the huddle screaming.
Yeah,
Yeah, I've seen that because I didn't watch it last year just because I was still kind of upset off of the bad season because they were like
yeah,
13-1, and I was like,
yeah,
this is just ridiculous. I'm not watching this. So
yeah.
yeah, but if they made a Hard Knocks this season, yeah, I'd be sure to watch it. And I've been
Hmm.
watching the YouTube series Inside the Den where they go through the practices and they were introducing CJ Gardner Johnson and the signings and everything. It's good.
Yeah. Well, see, fans, that's how much of a fan Andrew is here. He's watching Inside the Den. He's got a calendar on Instagram
Yeah.
of how long till the Lions season. So what made you think about doing that calendar? Like, would this just do it out of the blue or?
Yeah, I kind of just started randomly. So I just put on my note like go Lions. And then every single day I just keep saying go Lions. And then I thought, see, look, I'll even show you. I have a
Yeah.
countdown. It's kind
Hmm.
of hard to see. It might be
Yeah.
flipped. I
Hmm.
have a countdown right there, Lions game day.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, to the opening game versus the Chiefs. I have a countdown. So I thought I'd put that just on the Instagram. And I just kept doing it day after day. And I'm like, I'll just keep this a thing. I'll just keep it
Yep.
going.
A big Lions fan here. So
Yeah.
speaking of the opening game Chiefs, that's a huge honor for the Lions to
Yeah.
be opening against the Super Bowl winning champs, the Kansas
Mhm.
City Chiefs at Arrowhead. Give me your thoughts on that game.
Yeah, that game's gonna be ridiculous. I'm not gonna be able to sleep that day.
Yeah,
I'm just
it's
so happy the NFL has finally given the Lions some recognition for what they can do.
mhm.
That they honored them with the first game of the year. I was so surprised when I saw that. I heard rumors like before the NFL schedule release. I saw rumors about it, but I was like there's no way that's happening. So
Yeah,
then I saw it get confirmed, and I started freaking out in the middle of class. I was like, let's go. But
yeah.
I
Mhm.
think I think we are going to win that game. I think
You do, huh?
yes. Yes, okay. I know it's like a bit of a stretch, but this is my prediction. I think the Chiefs, they're gonna be a little cocky. They're like, oh, we're the Super Bowl champs. We're going against the Lions. I feel like obviously they're going to prepare for this game. It's the first game of the year. They want to go off strong. But I feel
Mhm.
like they're going to underestimate the Lions a lot, and the Lions are just going to come in there and punch them. I believe it will be a close game, but I think the Lions can eke out a win in the end.
Yeah, I could see that happening. I knew we were gonna have to play the Chiefs this year.
Mhm.
And like I said earlier, it's how you start, not how you finish. That'd be a great game to win to set the tone for the season as the first game there. But it like you said, it's going to be a close back and forth game. Both offenses are going to go off probably.
Yeah,
The JMO effect of him not being there.
yeah.
I don't
That's
know if he can be on the sidelines if he's suspended or not. Probably not, I would say.
mhm.
But he is going to be missed. But as much as I want to say it's going to be a win, the Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes. He's hard to sack, and
Yeah,
Aiden Hutchinson, James Houston, all the new guys that they got on defense. They're good, but it's going to be hard to stop them. The secondary in that game will be probably the X factor for the Lions to see
yeah.
first game coming up, see how CJ Gardner Johnson and what the departure of Jeff Okuda, which we didn't mention yet, but we'll see what happens. I do want it to be a win, like I said, but I don't know. It's going to be close.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Another reason why I think they're gonna win too is because the Chiefs team is ran by offense. You say defense wins championships, but for the Chiefs, that's not the case.
Yeah,
It's
no.
it's their offense 100%. Their offense is
Mhm.
so explosive, and they can score with ease with that Travis Kelsey, uh, Pat Mahomes duo. It just I don't believe that their defense is very good. Like there's not really any big names on their defense. And when you talk about the Chiefs, you don't bring up their defense at all. Like for the Eagles last season, a huge part of the reason they even went to the Super Bowl is because of their defense. Their defense was stacked with Hargrave on the defensive line.
Yep.
They had CJ Gardner Johnson and James Bradbury in the back in the secondary. It's just they were stacked, absolutely stacked. And with the Chiefs, I don't believe that was the case.
Yeah, that is true. And I definitely think the NFC has the most complete teams. Like I don't even think that, like you said, the Chiefs are a complete team with
Yeah,
their defense is lacking.
definitely. Yeah,
But the
100%.
Eagles and the 49ers, they have complete team. Like
Mm,
well, the 49ers are missing a quarterback, obviously, but
yeah.
they don't need a quarterback with all their stars. They have playmakers on offense, defense, special
Mm,
teams. And the same with Eagles. They signed their franchise players. And that's what I'm worried about for the Lions. I know we'll get one in the future. I don't, correct me if I'm wrong, but it might be Aiden Hutchinson. But do we have a franchise player on our team like the Eagles and 49ers do?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think it's a battle between St. Brown and Hutchinson, to be honest.
Yeah,
They are both like St. Brown's the star on offense, Hutchinson's the star on defense. I think it's a battle between them, to be honest. But since since St. Brown's contract is expiring sooner, I think they're gonna give it to him because we're
yeah,
gonna keep him. He's phenomenal.
they'll have to give him an extension. It's just the money is the resource, I guess.
Yeah.
Is Detroit all like the Red Wings, Pistons, Tigers, Lions? They don't have the money like the Kansas City Chiefs, for example, or they don't have the money to spend on high profile players. So they got to do what's good in the draft, like Brad Holmes does. They got to pick him up there,
Yeah.
which is it's kind of sad, but it's just the way. Like I guess Detroit. I don't know how the finances and all that counter out to each other because I know as a worker I pay taxes. I don't know where that. I mean, I know where it goes to, but like stuff like that. How
Mhm.
does Detroit get all that? Is able to get all that money?
Yeah.
But like I said, it's sad. So we got to build. we got to take advantage of the draft, which is what we do with Aiden Hutchinson, Sewell, Rodriguez, St. Brown, all them guys.
Yeah.
But we're a young team. We'll get there.
Yeah, I don't know if you saw, but they reworked a lot of contracts this offseason to free up some cap space, and we're right now they say we're top 5 in the league in terms of cap space available. So I don't know if we're saving that for extensions of players, or if we're maybe gonna sign a big name. Like, I know D-Hop's still out there, and he'd be a great, like, a player to like fill in for JMO while he's out.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and I'm surprised he still hasn't been signed yet, to be honest.
Yeah, that's a whole nother story there. I don't know where he wants to go, but essentially because he's quote unquote a good player, he's not a great player anymore. He kind of gets to pick where he wants to go. I think he's limited his choices down to a few teams, and I don't think the Lions are one of those. But that's okay. JMO is coming back.
Yeah,
it's just I don't know who's going to fill in his spot. For the first 6 games, especially against the Chiefs, when we need the offense. It'll probably be Amon-Ra at wide receiver 1, and then 2 will be Josh Reynolds, one of those guys.
Yeah, or Marvin Jones Jr.
Oh yeah, another free agent we got. Yeah,
I think he's gonna be able to replace DJ Chark. He was great on the Lions, but I just think, skill wise, I'd say they're about the same. Marvin Jones Jr. and DJ Chark, they're both pretty good. They're good wideouts.
Yeah, they're both in the system for Ben Johnson.
Yeah,
they did good. But yeah, I forgot about Marvin Jones. He's another. We were active this year in free agent, like you said, with Brad Holmes. I think he's a good GM. But what were your thoughts on free agency this year with all the players? We already talked about Gardner Johnson, but any others that
we did really good? Cam Sutton, he's going to be a starting cornerback. He's awesome. He's a beast. He's a monster. I saw his film from the Steelers. He's going to be really good for us. And even Emmanuel Mosley from the 49ers, he was a part of that 49ers defense, that amazing 49ers defense.
Yeah.
But he fortunately tore his ACL like week 4, something like that. So I think he's still going to be really good for us.
Yeah, we basically replaced our whole secondary issues from last year, which, like I said earlier, was one of the main problems of the season. That and then the defensive coordinator, the first few games, he shaped it around though in the last few games, getting his defense right. But like we shipped out Okudah, which was probably the right move. He just didn't seem to fit in well. I think he'll thrive well in the Falcons system.
Yeah.
We got rid of a few others that are household names, but like you said, Emmanuel Mosley and Cam Sutton, they'll come in and replace CJ Gardner Johnson, Brian Branch. That we basically got a whole new system or a whole new secondary.
Yeah. And I think we're probably long term, we're probably not gonna keep CJ Gardner Johnson. He's only on a 1-year deal, but maybe we'll extend him. Maybe. I hope so if he does good, because I think he's really good. But even if we don't, we still have Brian Branch.
Yeah, I was just gonna say. Yeah, but I don't know if we're gonna extend him, like you said, because the way we drafted this year with Brian Branch, he could be like quote unquote one of those franchise players. I don't think he'll be one of the franchise players, but you can definitely build around him with Kirby Joseph as well and Tracy Walker.
Yep,
they're both coming back. Well, Tracy's coming back on an injury, Achilles, but it should be an entertaining season this year. I know I'll be watching them in my dorm room at CMU this fall. You at MSU, I'm sure you'll be watching them.
Yep.
But I did want to mention about the offensive line. They're a bunch of dogs up there. They were one of the best last year, and we didn't replace anybody. We actually added a few more off of injury and then free agency in Graham Glasnow, or Glasnow, I think his name is, and then Big V Vaitai is coming off the injured list. What are your thoughts on the offensive line?
Yeah, top 5 in the league by far, not even close. The last year our run game accelerated so much. We've been having trouble even getting over 1,000 yards, which is sad, but the offensive line has improved so much, and even with injuries, we still have the depth is amazing, especially in the draft this year. We drafted I forgot his name, but we got that one guy from
Oh, you're talking about
William.
yeah, Sorsdal, I think his
Yeah,
name
yeah,
is
Colby
Colby.
Thorsdale. Yep,
Yeah,
from William and Mary. I didn't never heard of that college, but
yeah, I know.
yeah, yeah. I'm really excited, and I think we have really good depth, even if some players get injured.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
the guy you just mentioned, Colby Sorsdal, he's not going to be a starter, but we drafted him in like the
Mhm.
second or third round. That means he's definitely going to be a piece of this team, either on injuries or you know, second team, third team depth, kind of like you
Yeah,
said, depth.
exactly. And I think
Um,
eventually we're just gonna. He's probably not gonna play this year, but eventually he's gonna be a starter. I know he will.
yeah,
As he evolves and gets trained the right way, he'll be a
yeah, because
starter.
that's just the name of the sports and all baseball, basketball, football. The players
Mm.
can't play their whole lives, and I mean, unless you're kind of like LeBron or Tom Brady or anything like that. But Frank
Yeah,
Ragnow, he's getting up there with his injuries, and Big V, he's had injury prone. I mean, the offensive line is not an easy position. I know you played football in high school. What position did you play again?
I played on the D line.
Okay, yeah, those are tough positions to play off
Yeah,
up and up front and everything. But
having to shed those blocks is not something fun.
no, it's not. And you're definitely taking a hit, and you got to protect that quarterback. As
Yeah,
Jared Goff is getting up there in age too. Well, how old is he? Um,
thirty.
he's not. I guess he's not getting up there in age
31
that
maybe. I
much.
don't know. He
Yeah,
might
he's
actually. I
probably
think he's
high
29. He might be
20s.
like 29.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So, but like I said, we got Hendon Hooker in a few years too. So
yeah,
I think we're set with quarterback issues. But I don't really see any right now compared to last year. I don't really see a weakness in this team. I guess
yeah.
we will have to
Really.
see week one on the field or anything like that. But do you see any weaknesses on this team?
No, this has to be the most like in-depth, complete team Lions team I've ever seen. I think honestly anybody's ever seen because
Yeah.
the Lions haven't done really anything. But even it's just the safety position. Tracy Walker, CJ Gardner Johnson, and Brian Branch. Like
Mhm.
if any of them get injured, it's like God forbid, but it's
Yeah.
like we have replacements for every position, it seems
Yeah.
like. Kirby Joseph, Emmanuel Mosley. Emmanuel Mosley's not gonna start, I don't think. But
No,
yeah, but even if someone gets injured, it's like Emmanuel Mosley will just come in for him. And he's a really
yeah.
good from the 49ers. So
Mhm.
it's the most complete I've seen this team, and I'm
Mhm.
excited.
And we have the right coaching staff too, as well. And I'm really
Yeah.
looking forward to, because I have, as a Detroit fan for all the Detroit teams, I've never been to a home playoff game.
Yeah.
And if
Yeah.
we win the North this year, that guarantees us a home in the Ford Field.
Yeah, exactly.
So
Yeah, if we have a home playoff game, that stadium is going to be rocking.
yeah, I was just gonna say Detroit's gonna be Woodward Street. It's gonna be
Yeah,
packed. There's gonna
yeah.
be no, because we haven't seen it. We haven't. I mean, it's been what, like 1990s, 1980s.
1991 against the Cowboys, I think, something like that.
Yeah,
It's been
I
a
think this is
while.
our year, because like we mentioned earlier about the Packers, they regressed. The Bears probably got a little bit better, but
Yeah.
they got a little bit better because last year they were bad. So
Yeah, they won 3 games last year, so hopefully they can double it this year.
yeah, so I don't know. It's just we'll see. And then the Vikings we got to compete with too, but I think we can. Delvin Cook, he hasn't signed anywhere yet, so
Yeah, I'm not worried about the Vikings at all.
no.
I don't know why. I mean, I guess for money wise, he had a big contract and they're sort of trying to save some cap space, but I don't know why they would release Dalvin Cook. That was a bad move, I believe, because I know they still have Alexander Madison at running back,
Yeah.
but I don't think he's Dalvin Cook level. Like,
No, he's not running back. I mean, he's running back one now because he has
yeah,
to be, but he's not running back one material, I don't think.
yeah, exactly. That's why I thought that was a horrible move by the Vikings, and yeah, maybe Dalvin Cook will well, he will sign with a different team eventually.
Yeah. Well, Dalvin Cook could have at least done what some of the Lions players did, like you said earlier, when they took took a little bite to their contracts, like Romeo Acora and all those guys. They took lower pay raises and stuff like that. That's what Dalvin Cook could have done if he was a team player. I'm not
Yeah.
saying he isn't a team player, but like, don't get me wrong or anything.
Yeah.
But he could have stayed with the Vikings. And they also lost Adam Thielen, their wide receiver 2 or 3.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was a big loss. He's been with them for a while, and he
Mhm.
led them in reception. Well, with Justin Jefferson now, and I believe they drafted Addison out of USC, right?
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
probably a replacement.
yeah, exactly. They have two young stars.
Mhm.
Well, I don't know about Addison, but Jefferson, 100%.
Yeah, yeah. Going from college to NFL is obviously a different game.
Yeah,
So they gotta prove it on the field before we can call them stars or anything.
yeah,
But in
yeah,
college, he was a star.
yeah.
But so what do you think the ceiling is for the Lions this year? Do you think where do you see them finishing their season?
Like win wise,
Yeah, yeah.
either okay. This is gonna sound crazy. 13-4 or 12-5. That's what I have them at.
Well, I don't know about 13-4 for me. I'd probably say 12-5 or 11 and
Uh-huh.
6.
Yeah,
It all kind of depends on this week 1 matchup with the Chiefs, man.
honestly, yeah.
If they come out balling, I guess you could say, I could change my record to 13-4, but
Hmm.
a loss week 2 is a hard matchup with the Seahawks too. But I
Yeah,
think we
that's
get the
gonna be.
revenge game there.
Yeah, that's definitely
So
gonna be a revenge game. I'm going to that game, so I'm really
really,
excited.
yeah,
Yeah,
you'll
I'm
have to.
excited about it.
Yeah, that'll be a fun game to go to. The Seahawks, they improved as well, but the
Yeah,
NFC West is a juggernaut division, so they had
yeah,
to improve.
yeah. That division's, especially with the Rams, this year, they're probably gonna be good again. They
Yeah,
got Cooper Kupp and Matthew Stafford coming back off of injury, and Aaron Donald too.
yeah,
So they're
yeah.
still a good
Last year
team.
they had a ton of injuries,
Yeah,
but that's just the name of the game. So you 13-4, you obviously 12-5. You obviously have them winning the North then for
yes,
hosting the playoff game.
100%, 100%.
Yeah,
Like
you
last year, we weren't the best Lions team. Obviously, we still
no,
went 5-1 in the division.
yeah,
And even that one loss, it was in the beginning of the season to the Vikings, and we
yeah,
blew that game. We should have won
yeah.
it.
We had the
So
lead. Yeah, that
yeah,
was a disappointing loss. We had the lead there,
yeah,
but so yeah, I have them winning the North as well, but I do have them probably, depending on who we match up against in the playoffs, I do have them winning the first game, probably 100%.
hmm
But the second game, if it's the Niners or the Eagles, I haven't yet figured out who I'd like to play better, the Eagles or the 49ers yet.
yeah. Those teams are just intimidating. Like honestly, like when you think of the Eagles, are just like it's like one big monstrous creature. It's like it's
Yeah,
scary.
yeah, yeah. They're so do you have them winning the first playoff game then, and then
Yeah,
or
yeah. It depends who we play, honestly, but I think home field advantage will help a
mhm,
lot.
yeah,
And yeah, and
'cause-
even yeah, this is huge stretch, but if somehow we won the conference and got just home playoff through through like all of the playoffs, like home field advantage,
yeah.
that'd be something else. That'd be
Well, I'd go to every single game. I don't care if I mean I would
yeah,
go to.
yeah,
It would be a lot of money spent, but because those playoff tickets are not cheap. Probably
yeah,
not, but
definitely not.
but yeah, I do have them if they went to this. I don't have them winning the Super Bowl quite yet. That will be in the coming years,
Yeah,
depending on
yeah,
how they draft. But I'm
that's
not really expecting that yet. So, but
I'm just expecting playoffs this year. I'll be happy with playoff. Well, I won't be. I will be happy with playoffs, but I expect more than just that. Like
yeah, I'm
yeah,
expecting at least one win. I don't know about you, but
at least the first round divisional or wild card win. Hopefully, we
yeah,
don't even have to play the wild card, but just with the Eagles and 49ers in our division, chances are we will 100%.
yeah, it's going to be tough with all the because the Eagles they just signed Jalen Hurts to their contract his contract extension like Pat
Yeah.
Mahomes did a few years ago. Joe Burrow, he's going to be next. Josh Allen, they're all going to be next. They're great quarterbacks.
Yeah. I
But
want to talk about Jalen Hurts' contract for a second.
yeah,
I don't know how I feel about that. I know it's a lot of money. I feel like he just had one breakout year. So I don't know if we'll see if he has a good year. I'd say this worth it. But the other thing is they're paying him over $50 million a year. They're not going to be able to afford their other stars on that team. So that's why I'm wondering. I just don't think the Eagles will be very good 2-3 years from now. I feel
yeah,
like they're going to lose some players due to the contracts and not enough cap space.
Yeah, that's a good point. But I guess Zoom is telling me here that we have 3 minutes and 35 seconds left. So we're gonna have to wrap this up. But do you have any other quick thoughts on the Lions this year, or did we cover it all pretty much, you think? Or
I think we covered pretty much everything.
yeah, so Andrew and I were both expecting at least one playoff win, as we said earlier. Like I said in the beginning of the show, Andrew was my first guest on Austin's Academy of Sports. I'm hoping for many more. And of course, if Andrew, you want to do this again, just let me know.
Yeah, 100%.
Without further ado, I guess, thank you for your time, Andrew, and go Lions this year.
Yeah, go Lions. Thanks for having me.
Yep. See you later, Andrew.
See ya.